will determine whether your file will come out from wherever it is or something. So what I am saying is that the way the Nigerian state is configured, it cannot but encourage corruption. Even the nature of our politics, a situation where the winner takes all. I mean, once I win an election, that's it.
He spends all and takes all.
Spends all, takes all. And that's why, everybody prepares for election as if we are going to war. Because you must not just lose. Because the moment, if you win everything, including the treasury and all that.
If you lose, you lose everything.
And if you are not careful, you lose your life. So the point I am saying, or I'm making, is that, even though the state is configured to engender corruption, to encourage people to steal, there's still a lot we can do to reverse this trend if we are genuinely interested in doing so.
Okay, let's come back to Nelson. Now, where should the fight begin? I know the position of some of the panelists here will be the legislature, and we should focus on what the judiciary is doing, and maybe the where exactly should this begin? And please don't let us homing on what Nigerians, the common man, is doing, because a few people have said, yes, the man on the street has a duty and responsibility to take care of his own end before criticizing government. But the head is where the story has got to start from before it's get told by the mouth and the rest of the body begin to play out. But where should this begin in terms of governance?
Okay, let me start from legal point of view. The legal structure of Nigerian legal system dealing with corruption. If you look at our legal system, it is a common law legal system that presumes the accused innocent and is a constitutional right. That's where these problems are all pointing from: the corruption in judiciary, delays in trial, and all those things. That's where it's coming from. Come from that point of view, because even if you know and you have evidence that this person is corrupt, if you go to court to convict this person in our legal system, that means that that person is presumed innocent until you prove him guilty. And then the burden, that's the duty to show that he's corrupt, is on that of the prosecution, the people who are alleging that he's corrupt, even when they know. And they will go through these processes, and there's rooms for unlimited processes of fair hearing. Everything means fair hearing in the Constitution. So the Constitution has smuggled in those issues that could have been dealt with in another type of law. So if you look at the civil law jurisdiction, for instance, in Spain, going on right now, they get officials that have served and call on them to come and justify how they made all they have made because they held government office. That position cannot be here because of our legal system. If you want to address that part where you hold somebody down so that the person will now defend himself, then we need to change our legal system, at least on corruption cases.
Change it to what?
Change it to a system where you will be presumed guilty until you prove yourself. Are you getting it? Yes. No, where are coming? You see, because it requires what is fairness not in other jurisdictions that we practice in the other one.
It can be specific.
Yes. We are saying that if we want to drastically, I'm speaking as a lawyer now, because that's one of the problems, the loopholes. We have to plug that part first. That a law should be made for corrupt charges, corrupt cases, corruption cases. This becomes a big problem for us. So we say that if anybody lives above his legitimate income, if anybody is in government returns, what we do that here in Nigeria is a mimicking of it through code of conduct, by saying declare your assets, then come back. That is what that law is envisaging. But it doesn't have a strong legal structure to support it. Are you getting it? Because the legal structure on corruption based on pre and post governance interface, when you entered and when you left, what you had before, what you have after. The legal regime on that is not very clear.
I'm happy you made this
from
point.
your experience,
Yes.
have there been people who lied on those forms?
Of course, it's possible. There's even,
Okay.
even if you want to drag it far, somebody can have an anticipatory declaration. An anticipatory declaration.
So as he's
Will be
going in, he already has houses in VI.
Yes.
Because he intends to
He intends to
have
have
them by the time he
household.
leaves.
So these are the structures that we need to, keep in check before we can really fight corruption. in that
I
aspect.
was hoping you would deal a little bit with the question that I raised, which is where should this issue
Yes, we should start from the government. Government, not just the president. Government in this tripartite
Civil
system.
service.
If you look at the civil service, for instance, what is the culture of corruption there? If you look at the MDAs, government agencies, what is the corruption there? There is this servitude, Servicom.
Servicom.
Yes.
Yes.
Corruption is not just about taking money or looting. Failure to deliver service is corrupt. Taxpayers' money are being spent without value. You come to a government agency, you need a permit, you need to do something. That takes unreasonable number of period to get it. Then there's bureaucracy and red tapeism, chains of
files
files
disappear.
so these things are corruption.
In quotes.
To reappear.
You go through processes, your file might miss you. So if government takes, for instance, the Servicom process serious, civil service will be strong. If the judiciary, for instance, you can see they are doing very well in terms of really the NJC. They are really on top of judges. How many other agencies have their own regulatory body on top of the people that are supervising?
Okay, we have very limited time. Let me ask Mr. Gbadamosi here. The first process of getting someone who's corrupt to end up in jail, my understanding, which is a layman's understanding of this issue, starts with an allegation.
Indeed.
If you don't pinpoint someone and say you fiddled the book or you've done something wrong, that person will never ever end up in jail because there's no allegation, there is no prosecution, there is no investigation. And that is where the majority of young Nigerians are seriously worried. What is your thought in terms of government in Nigeria not even making allegation? You go to a place like the Senate and you have a situation where the chairman of the Senate Committee on Petroleum is saying to the NNPC GMD that, look at all of what you've said. It sounds really intelligent, but from the people you've presented to us, the figures still don't add up. You look at what is happening in the gas sector, and you look at what is happening in terms of oil theft. If there is not a single person that is fingered, then there will never be a case in court. And we end up, nobody is punished. What's your thought? We have to make it really brief because we've been
I'm very
told
glad you've actually brought this up because this is something that has really worried me no end. EFCC will not take an obviously, openly corrupt person who's living an unbelievably larger than life lifestyle, okay, that is totally at variance with the financial circumstances of the office he occupies or has occupied, okay, because there has not been a petition. And I find that really, really strange because, you see, the EFCC is supposed to be modeled on the FBI of the United States, where they don't actually wait for petitions. As soon as they see that there is a possibility that there is some corruption, some crime going on here, they move in and they investigate, sometimes very discreetly, until they can find some shred of evidence that will make them go after the person openly. Now, we have this situation in Nigeria, like you rightly pointed out, where unless an allegation is made, no investigation is carried out, nobody is fingered, and people can just go around with their loot with impunity, as we